Welcome back to our Auburn Recruiting Junkies. Yes, we've got another commitment video for you today, and we're going to be doing the defensive side of the ball for this one with someone who's very close to Auburn. Let's talk about who that is, the quick facts, and of course, what it means for Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers. Before we do that, I want to welcome you back to the channel, E2C Network, where we share the Auburn experience, all about Auburn sports, culture, and family stuff. If it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much for joining us and what we're going to be doing in this particular video. We've got to talk about the momentum that Auburn is building on the recruiting trail after a lot of people counted them out and were panicking about things or just making, trolls making light of things that really are just kind of silly at times. Anyway, there's some momentum really clearly building for Auburn as they start to add people more frequently to this 2026 class with this latest addition that we have here from Auburn's backyard, mind you. His name is Jaquez Wilkes. He is an edge guy or a linebacker guy, depending on who you talk to, from Wadley, Alabama, Wadley High School. So now let's talk about it right there. Where is he from? Wadley High School is not too far up north of Auburn. I kind of call it still Auburn's backyard in a sense. It feels close enough for you to call it that. So we'll just kind of consider it with that little kind of window or bubble kind of extending out to Columbus down south and, almost to Montgomery, things like that. Auburn's backyard, let's just call it what it is. So a very close get for Auburn and one that you want to make a priority. And a lot of people wanted him. Alabama, Florida State, Miami, Texas A&M all appeared like they were in the mix for this particular edge guy or a linebacker guy, once again, depending on who you talk to. So let's give you the measurables on this individual so that you can kind of gauge what you're getting here. He comes in somewhere around 220 pounds, 6'4". So really, he probably has some variability off the measurables or where he could play. But it seems like there's some discrepancies or just different opinions about what might happen. According to Jaquez, I believe I saw that he said Auburn is now recruiting him to be a middle linebacker for them when he arrives at Auburn, with DJ Durkin being his primary recruiter and a big guy that he attributes to his decision to commit to Auburn. That makes a lot of sense right there, but a lot of people still list him, or at least are changing their opinions from what he was once, an edge rusher. So depending on what happens when he gets here, here's what you know. The guy's got a lot of versatility, and he's going to play somewhere between middle linebacker to edge rusher for Auburn. We've seen this happen before with guys like Keldrick Falk, who came in as maybe an edge rusher, but then moved over to defensive lineman because either needs or when they arrived, they just realized they are better suited for this particular position at Auburn. We'll see how it shakes out for Jaquez, but really happy to have him and have his versatility here for Auburn with this defensive staff that we've got building, obviously, currently at Auburn, but in this class as well. Now let's talk about what this commitment means for him. Yes, the commitment itself, but for Auburn, the class, the future, playing time, all those things. Let's talk about what it means. We'll start with the class numbers, and this is all about at the time of his particular commitment when we're discussing this for the numbers. It makes it 11 total commits in the 2026 class. It would be the fourth on the defensive side of the ball with 6 on offense and 1 on the special teams side of things. This makes it the second linebacker in the class, if that's what you consider him, but also the second edge rusher if for some reason he were to switch back over to be an edge rusher. I think we're going to probably lean more linebacker the more I see people talking about it, but that's probably where we should probably just assume at this moment. So that's the class numbers for that particular one. Obviously, from the state of Alabama, you know how important that is. In this class, a lot of different variety from up north, over in Polynesia, but certainly, when all things shake out with the numbers, this is going to be another contributing factor to building up a core within the state of Alabama and Auburn's backyard of Wadley, Alabama, as we already discussed. What does this mean for playing time when he arrives? Once again, some variability here, depending on what he's saying Auburn's recruiting him for middle linebacker, what maybe he was listed as originally as an edge rusher. For the middle linebacker purposes, you've obviously this past season rotated out a bunch of talent. There's going to be a new wave taking over with some transfer portal stuff at that middle linebacker position, just at the linebacker position in general. So it means that maybe there's some opportunity if he arrives on campus to find some playing time early with this new group still trying to establish themselves at that particular position. You could probably make that same case with edge as well. There's going to be some talent cycling out this past year, or this next year too. So maybe you'll see a little bit of opportunity arising for him to get in there early and contribute at least in some depth chart situations. So what does this commitment mean for the class for the future? It's the 11th currently of the class, and obviously it's not done yet. Still plenty of time to go and lots more to be added. But what about his particular position? with Auburn potentially and having some situations with the linebacker, and we all know what happened with DJ Barber, there's probably a little bit more extra room at the linebacker position. Now, obviously, that can take place through the transfer portal, through high school recruiting. I'm just going to venture out there and say we're not quite done with linebackers. Maybe middle linebackers, you might start saying this may be one of the only two that you get with Balagoon Ali, who was just committed. You can see his video we did too. There was some discussion about him maybe even being a middle linebacker too. So I'm going to just say right now that middle linebacker feels pretty solid, but just in general, linebackers are not done. And definitely if we get back to discussing him as an edge, we still ain't done. Here's the overall theme. We ain't done yet, probably even still at this position. I want to know what you think about this guy, Jaquez Wilkes. Let us know down there in the comments section below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for hanging out with us today here at E2C Network, where we share the Auburn experience. War Eagle.